So what on earth can a 13th century monk teach us about our 21st century obsession with, well, with stuff? As it turns out, pretty much everything. We're about to dive into this epic clash of ideas, the quiet wisdom of a medieval mystic versus the roaring engine of modern consumer culture. And if you stick around, you might just find a practical blueprint for discovering some real inner freedom in a world that is constantly telling you to look for it everywhere else.
Okay, so to really get our heads around this, let's start with a little thought experiment. It's a simple image, but trust me, it gets right to the heart of the modern paradox.
Just picture this, a man in simple robes, totally used to quiet contemplation and a life of, profound simplicity. And suddenly, he's in a world of constant motion. He sees people just rushing past with shopping bags, their faces lit up by the glow of their phones. He sees a society where success is measured by the car in the showroom or the number of followers on a screen. He sees an entire world built on the relentless, endless pursuit of more.
He just pauses, smiles gently, and drops this bombshell. And that monk? That was Meister Eckhart. And his ancient ideas might just be the antidote to the biggest psychological disease of our time, materialism. And this right here perfectly captures the strange paradox of our time, doesn't it? We've built this world of just incredible material abundance. We have more things, more convenience, more everything than ever before. And yet, when you look at the stats on our mental well-being, the trend seems to be going in the complete opposite direction.
Which, of course, leads us to the biggest question of this whole explainer. In our relentless chase for more, have we accidentally engineered the meaning right out of our own lives? And if we have, how do we get it back?
So to figure out the solution, we first have to really diagnose the problem. And it goes deeper than you might think. See, materialism isn't just a philosophy anymore. For so many of us, it's basically become a global religion.
And this religion, it has its own set of commandments, doesn't it? These are the unspoken rules telling us that our value is measured by our salary, the size of our house, our online presence. It's this constant, exhausting game of looking for validation on the outside.
So why doesn't all this stuff actually make us happy in the long run? Well, psychologists have a name for it: the hedonic treadmill. It's a fascinating and, honestly, a kind of terrifying concept when you think about it.
Well, let me break it down. So you get that new car you've been dreaming of, right? And for a few weeks, it's amazing. But then your brain adapts. The new car smell fades. It just becomes your car. And to get that same buzz again, you suddenly need something else: a bigger house, a fancier vacation. It's like trying to quench your thirst by drinking salt water. It just never works.
And this is where the neuroscience gets really interesting. Our brains are wired with these dopamine reward circuits. But here is the critical mistake we all make. Dopamine isn't the feeling of happiness. It's the feeling of anticipation. It's the chemical that drives us to chase things. And modern technology, from shopping apps to social media, is expertly designed to keep us stuck in that permanent state of chasing.
And the psychological cost of this is very real and measurable. Research from psychologists like Tim Kasser shows that the more people prioritize money, status, and image, the more they report higher levels of anxiety, depression, and just lower life satisfaction overall. The data is crystal clear. The more you chase happiness through things, the further it seems to run away. And what's really happening here is that materialism completely shifts our sense of identity. The focus moves from this deep, internal question, who am I, to a deeply insecure external one, how do I look to others? We basically outsource our self-worth. Okay, so that's the diagnosis of the problem. Now, let's turn to the solution. And for that, we need to travel back about 700 years to meet our spiritual rebel, Meister Eckhart, who saw this whole trap long before any of us did. Now listen to this, because this is the crucial point. Eckhart taught something completely radical. He reframed the entire issue. The source of our suffering isn't what we don't have. It's our attachment to the things we do have. Our fame, our money, our possessions, even our own ideas about who we are.
His solution was a concept he called Gelassenheit. It's a German word that basically means letting go or releasement.
It's not about escaping the world and becoming a hermit. It's about living fully in the world, but without being psychologically owned by it.
Imagine trying to explain our modern upgrade cycle to him. You buy the newest phone, you're thrilled, but 3 months later, a new version comes out, and suddenly yours feels old. Eckhart would probably just look at you and say, "So, you traded your inner peace for a slightly better camera?" When you put it like that, it really doesn't seem like a very good deal, does it?
Eckhart's most revolutionary idea was that there is a place inside every single one of us that is silent, still, and completely untouchable by anything that happens on the outside. He called it the ground of the soul. And in that space, he said, true freedom exists because nothing, not wealth, not fame, not praise, not criticism, can ever touch it.
Think of it like this. Imagine you're climbing a mountain with a backpack. At first, you put in the essentials, right? Food, water. But then you keep adding things. Extra gadgets, luxury items, all this unnecessary stuff. Pretty soon, the bag is so heavy you can barely even walk. Well, that's modern life for a lot of us. We just keep adding things without ever stopping to ask a simple question. Is this attachment actually helping me, or is it just weighing me down?
And what's so incredible is that this wasn't just one monk's fringe idea. This is a universal truth that you can find across the world's great wisdom traditions. From ancient China with Lao Tzu, to India with the Buddha, to ancient Rome with Marcus Aurelius, the message is exactly the same. Freedom begins when craving ends.
So this all sounds great in theory, but you're probably asking, okay, how do I actually apply this ancient wisdom in my very modern, very distracting world? So let's get practical with 5 powerful steps, inspired by Eckhart and backed up by modern psychology.
Okay, number 1, practice inner silence. Just find 10 minutes a day, no phone, no music, no distractions. This is all about reconnecting with that still, quiet place inside. 2, reverse desire. Before you buy something, just pause and ask yourself, is this really for my life or is it just to feed my ego? 3, gratitude training. Every night, list 3 things you already have that you're thankful for. This is so powerful for shifting your focus from what you lack to what you have. 4, try a 30-day minimalism experiment. Pick one area, apps on your phone, clothes you never wear, and just simplify. You'll be amazed at how many needs just vanish. And finally, number 5, invest in experiences. Consciously choose to spend your time and money on experiences and relationships because study after study shows this brings way more lasting happiness than objects ever could.
And all of this really boils down to a final thought-provoking question. Imagine 2 people. One owns a mansion but is constantly anxious about protecting it and getting more. The other lives simply but feels a deep sense of peace and contentment. So, who is truly the richer person?
In the end, it really comes down to this profound insight from Eckhart himself. True wealth isn't about having more. It's about needing less. Our modern world has absolutely mastered the art of building things on the outside, but maybe, just maybe, the future of our well-being depends on relearning that ancient wisdom of building the soul, of finding true freedom on the inside.